Okay, so we're talking about the logic machine, and I said I would give you some of the ways in which it's limited and the ways in which it doesn't really work, and maybe some other philosophical reflections about it. So we've seen how any of these kinds of arguments here can be represented using the logic machine, can be evaluated. We can find out what conclusions are consistent with those premises. What arguments can't you represent using this logic machine? Well, I mean, there's a finite number of templates that I have. I've got these ones for A hook B, I've got A if and only if B, I've got A hook B, I've got A hook C, I've got some more C hook A, I've got exclusive disjunction here, A exclusively disjointed with B, so that's A or B but not both. I've got not A, I've got A, B and C, and I've got A or B, B or C, C or A. So there's a sense in which the number of templates are finite. You could, but if you wanted so here you're kind of limited. If you want an argument that's got A or B and B or C as premises, well, you'd need two versions of this triangle. That's not such a big problem. You can make those if you've got enough cardboard. Packing paper, as you can see, we've been in lockdown for 10 weeks, so I've got tons of this stuff from every delivery comes with cardboard. Free cardboard to make stuff. So a more difficult logical problem is, what about representing arguments that have complex. So we can represent complex arguments with complex premises. A hook B is a complex premise, A if and only if B, and so on is a complex premise. What about if we want to embed one sentence in another? So in propositional logic, of course, you can have premises of this sort of form, A hook B or C, if D, something like that. Right, you can have premises of that form, no problem. The problem is, no premise of that form can be represented using this logic machine. You can't embed one whole proposition in another. There's just no way to do that using this kind of machine. So that's a kind of quite severe limitation. Of course, the other limitation is that the other reason that it can't represent a premise like this is this has four propositional variables, A, B, C, and D. Now, in principle, you could make a logic machine that could represent four, but it would be much more complicated than this. You'd need, rather than having 8 hexagons here to cover all of the combinations of true and false, you'd need 16, and they'd have to be octagons, I guess. So you could make those. You could make them. I haven't designed one like that, but if you'd like to, and send me a video about it, that'd be great. But that's a serious limitation of the logic of this kind of logic machine. It can't evaluate everything that you could do by hand. Having said that, the advantage of this is that it's much, much quicker to evaluate many arguments than it is to evaluate them by hand. So if I wanted to draw the truth table for, I don't know, not A, B, and B hook A, something like that. Drawing the truth table for that would take ages, but here I just slap those triangles together and I can see that there are no premises that are consistent with it, nothing follows from it. That would be, if you wrote the truth table out for that, you would just have the overall, it would be an overall contradiction. So that's some limitations of the logic machine. One philosophically interesting feature of the logic machine is that it raises the question of just how much logical structure there is in the world. Okay, so here's a really simple way, here's a really easy way to see that. Here I've got the triangles for A hook C, that is A only if C, and here's the triangle for and I want the triangle for I should have prepared these a bit better, C hook A, that is C only if A. Okay, so if I want to put these two triangles together,